Hey everybody, my name is Russ and that is Lauren. We are doing our weekly music topic on our channel. We always have the reactions and vinyl videos and whatnot on the weekend, which we love doing, but we really like doing these topic videos. And one of our newest series that we started is What's So Great About. And I said when I started the series, we could like continue to delve into certain things, like you did one not just about Weird Al, but Weird Al's drummer,
Yep.
and we could go back and do certain things. So for me, I already did one of these videos on what's so great about Elvis in general. But for me, my favorite decade of Elvis is the 70s. So I figured, well,
What's so great
that's
about
where
it?
I'm going next. Hi, buddy. That's
Oh,
Troy's first time on camera, everyone. But
he loves Elvis.
for me, I think I've said this to you. I've said this to a lot of people. For me, Elvis's career doesn't even start till 1969.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just don't. I understand the stuff that he did in the 50s that like brought him to the dance, and I understand the role that the movies that he did played in it, and I totally understand the 68 comeback special. But for me, it's from 1969 forward. He was the gosh darn man,
Cool.
and there's so many reasons. One of which is, by and large, the material, the song choices, and the set list that he was doing in the 70s. I think are well. I mean, the set list is kind of an unfair one to throw in because he didn't really like tour a lot prior to '69, but he, because of the movie soundtracks and all that stuff, he was doing so much slop. Like,
Mm-hmm.
just like, and there's some good stuff in there too, like some personal favorites of mine and stuff. Well, Can't Help Falling in Love came from a movie. Obviously, Jailhouse Rock, Love Me Tender. But there's stuff like Wooden Heart and whatnot that I like that came from those. But like by and large, those songs are not that great. They were to get you from point B to or point A to point B
Right.
in a plot of a very bad movie. But then when you get into the late 60s and really through most of the 70s, except say for stuff like Promised Land and whatnot, the song choices, In the Ghetto, Suspicious Minds, Make the World Go Away, There Goes My Everything, Funny How Time Slips Away. And I mean, yeah, now I'm putting together the song list for a very brokenhearted man, but that's who he was.
Yeah.
This is a
I
guy,
understand.
in my opinion, the guy who's doing therapy in front of all of us with his song choices. So that to me on material alone, and again, I'm not discounting Don't Be Cruel and All Shook Up and all that stuff for their importance to the history of rock and roll. But as far as Elvis goes,
Mm-hmm.
you could put on any version of There Goes My Everything and it will destroy the feeling in any song, in any love song he did in the 50s. Personal style. I think the dude looked amazing in the 70s. Like
Yeah.
and I'm going to touch on his concert in a different point, his concert look, but in his personal life, like this dude invented bling.
Oh, for sure. And we have watched, a lot of like 70s Elvis concert footage and things like that. How many times have I looked at you and I was like, his hair though?
I know.
Like his hair.
I know.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Even, I might as well get this out of the way too. One of the phrases, this that irritates me so much in life is when people go, old fat Elvis. It's such a ridiculous statement. And even if you look at I've shown you footage from what's commonly known as the CBS special, the two concerts that were filmed in June of '77, and he still looks fantastic, like hair wise. I mean, it's like thinning hair, but he's also a 42-year-old man, but he's still like you're like yeah. I'm sure he's dyeing his hair to a certain extent, but whatever. The hair looks fantastic, and but yeah, between like 70 and 72. You can't beat that. You can't. But his personal style, the big gold chains, dude is walking around with like a gold cane for no reason. Always suited up, always looking just fly.
Yeah.
And you still to this day see echoes of Elvis's personal style. I'm not talking about on stage, personal style in today's music. In the whole bling lifestyle of if you got it, flaunt it and whatnot.
The bling lifestyle. I love that.
It all goes back to him. And Lauren hasn't been to Graceland yet, but when we go to Graceland, there's whole exhibits about his vehicle collections and his personal belongings and stuff. And you'll see this dude really wanted to show off, and he had every right to. Now we go to the stage closing. Jumpsuits. This is one of those things that for years people would make fun of. They go, oh, Elvis in the jumpsuits. Well, first, I think they're insanely cool. Like, I don't think I've never seen any picture of Elvis in any jumpsuit that I've ever been like, oh, that's an ugly jumpsuit. Like, they all have different cool factors to them.
Yeah, and to what you were getting at, where you can see threads of Elvis's style in like stuff that's happening now. I think of like, you know, the quote unquote hair metal guys in the 80s. Like half of them were wearing jumpsuits.
Yeah.
Like, so you can't.
Well, even
make
if
fun.
you look at like while Elvis was here, like immediately following him, look up any picture of the Osmonds. Look up any picture of the Jackson 5. Like, they were all being like, we're going to just do Elvis's outfit times 5, you know, or whatever. Recently, a friend of ours posted a picture from the 70s in the concert, said, this is my first concert ever. And through a blurry photo, I was able to figure out it was the Osmonds because they were dressed like Elvis.
Yeah.
She was like, no one's ever guessed it's the Osmonds. I'm like, yeah.
Oh,
it's 'cause
yeah,
they
that's
were-
right.
Yeah, because they were dressed like
I was
Elvis.
like, I was looking, I'm like, I can't tell what this is.
But all of his suits, they all had themes to them. Like, the reason why he had the Aloha suit made was for like the American Eagle and freedom and stuff. And later he even had a different version of that suit made that was more filled in because it wasn't on TV. So people across the stadium would be able to see and get that glimpse of the Aloha suit. My personal favorite suit of his is the Phoenix suit, which is like a very little known suit, but I just think it looks amazing. There's a funny story behind it, actually. It's a Phoenix with like zebra print on it. Yeah, and Elvis walked in the room and saw the zebra upside down. It was like, that bird's funny looking. And so they were like, I guess it's going to be a bird now. Like, you know, they were like, king has spoken, you know. But it's also what brought me to the dance. Like, I attribute so much in my life to the album Elvis at Madison Square Garden. Like, my all the different types of genres of music that I listened to, that I got into because of that. I bought that record because of him in the jumpsuit on the cover. He looks like a superhero. I literally was told by my mom I could pick out any record that I wanted, and there was Sesame Street stuff, all the stuff you would think would be at kid level at a Perry drugstore on Dixie Highway in Waterford, Michigan. And I literally picked out the Elvis record, having never even heard him before, because he looked like a superhero.
That's
on the
great. So
cover.
you tell me you chose Elvis over Big Bird, and that bird is funny looking.
Yeah, no kidding. Lastly, voice. This again, I have to circle back to the thing that irritates the crap out of me, the old fat Elvis. And actually, we were just watching a documentary on a certain egotistical man from New Jersey the other day.
That's not Bruce.
Who wishes he was Bruce Springsteen. And he had the nerve regarding his own vocal problems to make reference to, quote, big fat Elvis. And I paused it and went on for like 15 minutes. Don't worry. Sent very, very angry texts and made a Facebook post about it. I told the whole world.
He did.
But Elvis's voice, if Elvis lost any gosh darn thing between 1969 and August 16th, 1977, it sure as F wasn't his voice. If for proof, look up Elvis My Way 1977, How Great Thou Art 1977, Unchained Melody 1977, and his voice. Before we worry about like the end game of his voice went through so many different phases. Like, I've played stuff for you from concerts from 70, where he's got like really thick rasp and just like even a little bit higher vocal range then. But then as you listen to him through like 72, 73, totally different style to his voice than how it would than the end game in 77. But I don't think I've ever heard of a better example of an artist whose voice is literally aging like fine wine in front of you, as between 69 and 70.
Yeah.
And actually there's a version, I just listened to it the other morning. There's a version of Trying to Get to You from 1977 that you should look up, that if you listen to the original version of Trying to Get to You, it's like an entire step up. And there's a lot of rasp in it, but I would argue, I think in 77, he sings it more like he means it, than a guy just reading whatever they put in front of him. They're like, all right, Elvis, do this one. We got to sell another 1 million copies, and he sings it with a lot more personality, and he's even having fun with it. And I think that's a guy who's like, look, I can sing the phone book and it doesn't matter. So I'm going to have fun with this, So Elvis's voice in the 70s, killer. I could and have gone on and on and on about Elvis in the 70s, but it's my favorite era. It's my favorite decade of Elvis's career. Drop a comment and let me know what you think about Elvis in the 70s, or some of the things that we've discussed in the video here. Let me know if there's another decade that's your favorite and why. By all means, we love comments like that. If there's more you want us to cover about Elvis, let us know. Drop a comment and let us know on that. Share this out with your friends because that helps the channel grow a great deal. If you would, please at least drop a like on the video, if nothing else, because that helps us out. And as we always say, thank you so much for watching.